Cynthia is the executive director of Rebuild Yourself Incorporated. And what Rebuild Yourself Incorporated does, it's to build self-esteem, confidence, and friendships for teenagers in the post-pandemic environment. And she believes, and she treats works with the teenagers in the area of social health, and improvement through their sense of community, friends, and shared experiences. So I think we're going to learn a lot about how to deal with and how to work with the teenagers from Cynthia. She was awarded the District 2 Citizen of the Year Award for 2022. She has a master's degree in public administration and a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. For about 10 years prior, she worked for the Veterans Health Administration, and she was in the United States Navy. And as a Navy veteran, she worked at in law enforcement, and law enforcement for the Navy and the Marines, is where she achieved the Achievement Medal. And some of her law enforcement peers was in Cuba. So I'm going to ask her to tell us more about that when she comes up and speaks to us. I think that's very interesting. And also talking about the Navy and the Marine, we were in places like Virginia and Oklahoma. I didn't know they had much water out there, but I was an Air Force guy. So anyway, she likes spending her time off with her husband, Jonathan, at home, and time with her 5 children. So Cynthia, we'll give her a warm Rotary welcome.
Hi, everybody. Pleasure. Yes, I was in the Navy. I think I was 18, and I told my mom I was getting out. I was like, when I turn 18, I'm leaving this house, and the Navy took me, so here I am. But yeah, I was 8 years as a law enforcement officer. When I got to Cuba, just so he knows, they actually asked me if I was bilingual, and I said, yes, my parents are from Cuba. They're like, perfect. You're going to help us get the Cubans that we interdict at sea, and you're going to help translate for them so we can find out why they're trying to get to America. So that's what I had the honor of doing. I liked it. The Cubans kind of messed with me a little bit, but that's okay. They pranked me a little because I didn't know any better. But it was a really great tour. And then I did Virginia and then Oklahoma, where I worked at Tinker Air Force Base in my last duty station. So I'm going to talk. I still work for the Department of Veterans Affairs during the day. That's my day job. I'm an associate director where we work technology systems. But in the evening, I started a program because my daughter had a hard time after COVID going back to school. She would call me every day sitting by herself, or she would be hiding by a tree saying that she didn't have any friends. And she was great in class because in class, the teacher's talking and you're kind of listening. But when she had to try and interact with others, she couldn't do it. So one day I was starting to look for any kind of clubs for kids who didn't really have a goal or a hobby to say in that age. And I couldn't find anything. I was willing to drive 50 miles. Let me just try and find something for my kid, with what I was looking for. So one day she called me. She was a junior at the time, by the way. And she ended up telling me that a dean found her eating lunch by a toilet seat. And she was embarrassed to call me to tell me that she was eating lunch by a toilet seat. So I said, I have to be part of the solution. I can be part of the problem or part of the solution. And I knew I had to help, because if my daughter, who has a good home at home, is feeling this way, there has to be other children. We started with 4 kids, and we're over 655 children right now that we're servicing. So Ryla, I already filled your seats. Don't worry about it. So I'm going to go ahead and share screen. All right, first try. Okay, so obviously what you see here is some of our children in the program. We ran a gala in July, which you'll see a little bit further, but the kids run the show. Anything that we do with Rebuild is that we try to rebuild their self-esteem by telling them they can do anything that they want to be. And so they build the brochures, they build the brochures, they build the curriculum, they work on self-esteem, and they build everything that's going on from beginning to end of the show. They did dancing, things like that. So we have kids, all different sorts of kids, just so you know, autistic, high functioning autistic, some kids with eating disorders, some kids with depression and anxiety, some kids that just don't know how to socialize, and some kids that don't really have a good home life, perhaps, that they come here for a safe place. So we're a 501c3 nonprofit. We started in August of 2021 to make sure that every kid feels accepted when they come through our doors. We don't care what they did the day before. When they come in, they're welcome. I don't want them to feel, a lot of these kids feel that they don't belong, they don't fit in, they feel weird. But when they get here, they know the difference, because we always make them feel welcome. That's the best way that I can say that. This is our current board. You can see the wonderful people on the screen that helps make this possible. They believed in my crazy madness and helped me out. So I want to show you, since COVID, these are some of the things that are happening in teen problems. Stress management, mental health crisis has increased, isolation. Some kids are now homeschooled because they don't know how to interact, or they get anxiety. At the beginning of this school year in middle school, there was a parent that called me recently and told me that their kid refused to get out of bed because it was just too much to see in the crowded school. And they just felt, she's like, I don't know how to get him out. And so all I told her was, you know, let baby steps and maybe come to a program that is not so overcrowded, and let us do these baby steps to try and get them integrated into things, because they were unwilling to get up. Our core values: we provide a safe place, compassion, mentorship, and leadership. In fact, our juniors and seniors, we have a mentorship program where we have a mentor in the community that helps the kids, and we help them getting ready for college. We're going to do college tours. We meet once a month, and then the kids work personally with a mentor. If a mentor, for example, I always say photography, but it's the first thing that comes to my mind. If a kid is interested in photography, we find a photographer that's well established that in that career field. And then what we do is we pair them together so they can have conversations and find out if this is really what a kid wants or not. Sometimes we find out that yes, they're really interested, or they were like, oh my gosh, what if I went to school for this? This is not what I want, which is good. Our vision, this actually came to me in a dream: to embrace, expand, empower, the 3 E's. Embrace who you are and gain understanding that you're important. Expand, to know that they're not alone, that there's other kids just like them, or kids that may not have the same likes or dislikes, but they have those same feelings. And then empower them, that they are important and they are leaders. We met once in a charter school, and I had a sign that said yes or no. And I asked them all to close their eyes. And I said, I want you to raise the paddle that says yes if you feel that you are a leader. And out of those 10 kids standing there in front of the crowd of 600 kids, only 1 felt that they were a leader of the 10. And so what I told them was that I appreciate their honesty, and what my hope is, within the months of us working together, that more will turn that paddle to say yes, because they're all leaders, they just don't know it yet. This is our growth since 2021. Started in August of 2021. January, we started reaching out more into the Lake Nona area. I got to meet wonderful people. Definitely Rotary has helped a lot, and getting established with Rotary and seeing such, you guys are very kind-hearted people. And so I'm very appreciative of that, because it helped the kids know that there were others. In August of 2022, we ran a gala, the kids ran the show, and we expanded to the charter schools. In January of 2023, we are now in Osceola, Orange, and Seminole County. And in October, where we're at today, we completed our 2nd gala in July, but now we're servicing over 655 teens. So why do they like me? Number 1, I feed them. It's trickery. No, but we provide them a safe place. We teach them little segmented social and life skills. So for example, I feed them, and then afterwards we do a topic. This month for October is Professional Development Month. So each week they meet me once a week. And so this week is going to be about career goals. The next week is going to be about resume building. The week after, we're actually going to do teaching them how to properly dress for an interview. And then after that, we're actually having people in the community that's going to come and give them mock interviews to see how they could react and handle that. Then we give them leadership skills. We offer them to volunteer. We just made a youth board, a much bigger youth board, and we met with them yesterday, had dinner with them, applauding them for taking the opportunity or the desire to be an adult and to want to see other people do better. So This is Sophia. She's going to talk to you in a little bit. That's one of my teens from the beginning, from August of 2021. And actually, this year, we were telling the kids that we wanted to tell the story rather than me just say it standing on a podium. How could you say it? So the kids, these are actual kids in our program, wanted to show you how they felt, how they feel, and what you may not think they see. For example, they look fine on the outside, but you don't know how they're feeling on the inside. And so take a couple minutes, eat, relax, and
there's some fighting at our school. A lot of people just stand there and watch and not try to like break it out or like tell a teacher.
So you see my friend Edward was getting picked on because he's from Venezuela and everything. And you see, because he doesn't talk right and everything, he gets picked on by other people and makes me mad and sad.
There's problems that have been caused from family issues or background, which causes them to be in like so much pain and so much like suffering, even to a point where they feel like they just want to like end it.
My teachers in school were bullying me for my identity and my disability.
Kids are feeling so much pain that the words can't even like explain it. So when people break down or when kids break down, they can't say it because they don't know how much like pain they're in to say it.
Eventually, when we're feeling at our peak, we have this glass, maybe half full or half empty, however you want to picture it. And as soon as some people start to affect you, new people come in and they affect how you think. As to like this person, just a few days ago, texted me anonymously saying that I was ugly for no reason. And that kind of just adds to my glass, or to our glass as a person. So, all of these emotions and stuff, they fill your glass into the point where it just overflows, and you have no other way to get rid of these other than just lashing it out at other people, and it's not healthy to do that.
If you're not cool on the outside, nobody's really gonna like you. And like if you're not like cool on the outside, people are just gonna stare at you funny, make fun of you, and do all these things to you because you're not cool like they are.
So throughout junior year, the first and second quarter, nobody talked to me, and I would sit alone in the bathroom or by a tree, so nobody would see me, just so I could not feel alone, like nobody could see me be alone. But it really took a toll and made me sort of depressed and had social anxiety to talk to anybody else.
For the first maybe month of school, I literally sat on the floor outside of the guidance counselor's office for lunch because I didn't have anyone to sit with. There was no one in the cafeteria for me to sit with, and I wasn't close enough with any teachers yet that I could go eat lunch in someone's classroom, so I just sat by myself.
A lot of kids struggles like their self-image, like knowing how to like love themselves and like appreciate like the way that they are itself. And like I see that, you know, as Rebuild Yourself, like we help one another and we support each other.
I would explain to a kid who knows nothing about Rebuild Yourself by basically just explaining how everyone there is not judgmental and is really accepting of everyone, as well as there's a bunch of fun activities to do with people and a lot of cool people to meet.
A child with challenges is hard, it's difficult, but we have to push forward. We have to press on. We have to keep those doors open for our babies. But there have been several events that she has came out of this building excited to talk to me about, and as a parent that brings me joy because it opened up a dialogue for us that if it wasn't for Rebuild Yourself, that dialogue would never happen.
I used to not talk that much, and then I started hanging out with RYI, and it kind of like brought me like to talk more to my friends.
Like ever since going to Rebuild Yourself, I've become like less lonely. I don't feel like I'm just trapped inside my house all the time. I get to go out and it's like refreshing.
My most memorable thing is probably the first time I came. I got to meet everybody that was here, and I just clicked in with everybody, and I just felt really comfortable.
Rebuild has given me a place to go when like I don't want to like necessarily go home. So it's like coming here, it's like I realized like I can be friends with a lot more people than I thought.
It helped me like socialize more. I'm able to socialize with more people now. But before I used to like, you know, be quiet all the time. But now, like, you know, I was able to like make new friends and like, you know, out there in the world instead of just my own little bubble.
Rebuild has helped my friends also like find new people to become friends with. It's more the social interaction that they improve with.
I think the quarterly events are a really good experience, and they're sometimes out of my comfort zone. I sometimes wouldn't regularly do them, but it's fun to experience them with all my other friends that I have at Rebuild Yourself. We're gonna be doing paintballing soon, and I'm kind of nervous about it because I don't think I'm gonna do very good, but it's gonna be cool to do it.
You see the change week after week when they come. They're more comfortable, they're becoming friends, they're interacting, believing in each other and supporting one another. And I think that that's when I know that we're doing something right, because we're making impact not only on their self-esteem, but their lives as a whole.
I'm going to actually ask Sophia, she's one of the teens in our program since the beginning, how much it's helped her at least, and then go from there.
Hello, my name is Sophia Miranda. I'm 16 and I'm a sophomore at Digital Academy of Florida. I am originally from California and I moved to Florida during COVID, and I came to the schools and there was like, I didn't know how to make that many friends because half people were still online, half the people were in person, but there wasn't really socializing or anything. So it was something new. And during September of 2021, I had joined RYI because someone had recommended it to me. And I think it helped me get out more and socialize more, because before I didn't want to like go to school. I didn't want to get out of bed. I couldn't do it. But going to RYI and being able to socialize with everyone there, it helped me make more friends, like do more things and be involved. I think I do a lot with RYI. I'm online schooled now, but even not in school, I'm always with her. I'm always with RYI. I try and get involved as much as I can. I'm now part of the youth board as the newer ambassador that was just last week, and I also work with them. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you. So, you know what the best part is, that when I see her come up here and talk, she wouldn't have been able to do it before. All right, so we also provide at the end of every session an anonymous survey. And the reason is I want to know what kids need. And then another example is I want to know if we did a good job or not, because that's the only way that we can build, is if we find out how they're reacting. So here are just some of the anonymous feedbacks that we've had. Someone said, I really like doing the vision board. It's fun to be able to think of things I liked and what I want to be in the future. One of them, I learned to have fun with people and not be sad and alone. I learned about my peers and not to judge people by their appearance. I learned a lot about being money smart and how to save for the future. These are just some of them. And this one, I learned not to underestimate myself and know my self-worth. So this is currently obviously my plan. I want to expand in fiscal year 23 to be in all of Central Florida, all of the counties there, and then eventually state expansion by 2024, 2025, to hopefully be in all of Florida. That's my wish. We shall see. These are just some of the kids in the program. And what you guys don't know is this picture right here. A year after we started RYI, my daughter, the reason I started the program, actually was diagnosed with synovial sarcoma stage 3. It was hard. But during her journey, her friends at school that she thought were her friends left. But the kids at RYI didn't even turn a beat. She had no hair. You can see her up there. And she was just friendly and loving. And she said, these are my people. These are the people that didn't turn their back on me. So when she finished her treatment, she's out of treatment now. She's fine. And she's in college actually now. But she wanted to give back to Advent Health. So we got a couple of the sponsors. In fact, Rotary 6980 was one of our sponsors. And we donated mini fridges to the whole pediatric and bone marrow oncology floor. So every family has a fridge in their room. So as you can see that, we were very proud of that. And then you see some pictures of us from the gala and us at one of our sessions. As you can see, every time we have a session, there's so many kids. So how can you help? Number one, mentorship. We're having so many kids that we're trying to mentor. Any kind of volunteers would be great. Of course, support. We make sure that every child that's part of Rebuild Yourself never has to charge $1, any kind of activities we have, because some kids feel that they wouldn't be part of a club unless they had money to do so. And I never want to let a kid feel that they don't belong because of a cost of $1. And then of course, partnerships, any kind of activities or events. We're assisting now. We're the Interactive Central Florida. So partnering in any kind of capacity, we'd be very grateful. Another way is we have 2 things up here. Obviously, how to sponsor a teen. It costs $600 a piece to sponsor 1 teen in the program for the year. But also on Veterans Day, the kids are throwing a pancake breakfast at Longhorn Steakhouse in Lake Nona. They're going to run the whole show. They're going to cook. They're going to feed you. They're going to serve you. They're going to host everything. And of course, if you're a veteran, absolutely free. But if your family and stuff don't have any plans for Veterans Day, come check out our kids. They have a big plan for you and they're really excited. And then if you want any more information on RYI, please scan the QR code. And thank you so much for your time.
Okay, we got questions?
Not a question, just I think we've got 2 champions in this room, and they are Sophia and Cynthia. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
How do you recruit kids, and then how often do you meet with them, and where, and how do you like for the kids who aren't driving yet, perhaps, like how do they get there? How do all the logistics come together to where you get these big crowds of kids?
Great question. So honestly, Lake Nona's started by word of mouth, just from the teens finding out that we were hip and cool and we feed them. But I actually ended up being on Channel 6. They wanted to talk about the program. And then what ended up happening is we actually got some parents from Volusia County and things that I'm not able to service yet, saying their kid is homeschooled, they're isolated, they don't have friends, how can you help? So we started a virtual program. So we do it virtually on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, we service Seminole County, and we help children's at an adolescent behavioral health center. And we help them so when they're getting clean, when they leave the program, they have a new group of friends to be with who accept them for who they are without drug use. So we did from there. We talked to charter schools. And then on Thursdays, we service Lake Nona. I ended up doing, I think, a newspaper once article, but most of it has been social media, word of mouth from the kids talking about a program that accepts them for who they are. I will tell you that we had a meeting last week when we were doing this thing with Longhorn, and one of the children went with us. And the child said, I don't know if I'd be alive if it wasn't for this program. So it's working.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Well, we often talk about if you have a passion as a member of Rotary, you can bring that passion forward, and Rotary can put our horsepower behind what you want to do. And I think there's no better example of that than what we heard today. And thank you so much for what you're doing for so many.